It happened on a warm, bright afternoon when everything looked perfect, the kind of day the world uses to disguise its cracks. Sunlight filtered through green branches, children's laughter drifted across the playground, and teachers walked the halls with coffee cups and easy smiles. It was the type of peaceful day that made you believe nothing bad could possibly happen, yet behind one particular classroom door, a storm had already begun. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Rowan Carver had always lived gently, even after life stopped being gentle with him. Since losing his wife 2 years earlier, he had transformed hardship into tenderness for the sake of their daughter. Every morning, he braided Arya's hair with careful fingers, packed her lunch with little notes tucked inside, and whispered the same words he had whispered since the day she was born: "You are safe, you are loved, you are never alone." Those words became their ritual, a small shield against a world that had already taken too much. Life wasn't easy. Rowan worked 2 jobs, one early, one late, but he never let exhaustion darken the home he and Arya shared. Their evenings were filled with quiet dinners, soft conversations, and the gentle companionship only a father and daughter rebuilding their world together could understand. So when Arya left the house that morning with a distant look in her eyes and accidentally left her lunch on the kitchen counter, he simply smiled. Children had off days. Forgetfulness was normal. Nothing felt alarming, but some truths don't reveal themselves until they're ready. During his midday break, Rowan grabbed the lunchbox and drove straight to the school. He walked across the sunlit courtyard, passing cheerful students and teachers who greeted him politely. Everything seemed ordinary, yet the closer he came to Arya's classroom, the more the air changed. It felt heavier. Still. Almost too quiet. Rowan's footsteps slowed, his instincts whispered, and then, he heard her voice. Fragile, trembling, nothing like the confident, kind-hearted girl he knew. He approached the doorway, and the scene inside knocked the breath from his lungs. Arya stood near her desk, shoulders shaking, hands clutched to her chest. Her eyes glistened with fear she was trying desperately to hide. Several students sat frozen, their expressions caught between confusion and discomfort, and looming in front of her was Miss Halden, a strict teacher known for discipline, but today she looked like something sharper. Her face was tight with irritation, her voice sharp enough to cut. Rowan stopped cold. He had never seen Arya look so small. Miss Halden's hand rose, not to hit, but in a gesture infused with enough aggression to make the entire room flinch. She scolded Arya, speaking over her attempts to explain, dismissing her trembling voice as if it were an inconvenience. Rowan couldn't breathe. He knew his daughter. He knew her soft heart. He knew she would rather take blame than argue. Why was she being cornered like this? He stepped inside, the room fell silent. Arya's eyes widened the moment she saw him, relief and humiliation flooding her face at once. Miss Halden stiffened, taken off guard, but Rowan didn't spare the teacher a glance. He went straight to Arya, kneeling so that his eyes met hers. "Arya," he whispered softly. "I'm here." Her chin trembled. A tear slipped, quick and unwanted. He gently set the lunchbox aside and rested a reassuring hand on her shoulder, grounding her, letting her know she wasn't alone. Not anymore. Around them, the students watched with wide, silent eyes. They weren't just witnessing a father enter a classroom. They were witnessing something sacred, a parent seeing pain his child had been hiding. Rowan's mind raced. How long had this been happening? How many times had she come home quieter than usual? How many signs had he missed because he was simply trying to keep their lives together? Guilt punched him in the chest. Miss Halden finally spoke, her tone stiff. She defended her actions, claiming Arya had failed to turn in an assignment, that she had been disrespectful, that she needed correction, but Rowan heard something beneath her words: impatience, frustration, the kind of rigidity that forgets children are human beings with fragile hearts. He rose slowly, and when he spoke, he didn't shout, but the entire room felt the weight of his voice. "No child should ever feel this afraid in a classroom," he said quietly. "Discipline is not humiliation. Correction is not intimidation. And you do not raise your hand at my daughter, or any child." Miss Halden sputtered, insisting she had not intended harm. Intent didn't matter, impact did. Before the situation could escalate, the principal arrived, alerted by whispers of commotion. Rowan explained everything he had witnessed with calm clarity. No exaggeration. No anger. Just the raw, steady truth of a father whose heart had been cracked open. The principal listened. Really listened, and when she looked at Arya, still holding her lunchbox like a shield, her face softened with concern. What followed was not a cover-up, not dismissal, but accountability. Meetings were scheduled, misconduct was addressed, and for the first time in weeks, Arya's shoulders seemed to lift, as if a buried weight had finally been acknowledged. When Rowan and Arya stepped outside into the bright afternoon sun, the world looked different. Not fixed. Not perfect, but honest. Arya leaned into her father, releasing a trembling breath that broke his heart. He didn't ask her to explain, he didn't demand details, he simply wrapped an arm around her and held her as tightly as she needed. That embrace was his promise. "I will always show up. I will always see you, even when you fall silent. I will listen." At that moment, under the warm sun of an afternoon that had started so peacefully, Rowan understood something profound. Children don't always cry loudly when something is wrong, sometimes they just grow quieter, and a parent's love must learn to listen to the silence.